It's going to be a terrific podcast today. The Henry Harrison Podcast, Entrepreneurs, Business, and Finance. We're fortunate to have NK, co-founder and CEO of Track 3D. And this is one of a number of companies that he has founded over the years. And he's been working on this one for almost 4 years. So we've got a lot of good things to talk about. Hello, NK.
Hey Henry, thanks for having me. Excited to have this conversation.
Terrific. Well, let's talk a little bit about what Track 3D does. I know it has to do with technology and helping keep up with construction. I have a somewhat of a background in construction. I had a custom home building company for 10 years. Probably not your target market, probably bigger projects but I still know the chaos and the need for control and data and management. It's an ever difficult, forever difficult process in construction. So I hope you're able to improve that, and I hope you are improving that.
Absolutely, Henry. So you will be able to even understand this context a lot better, I guess, because most construction projects go either over budget, over schedule, or in most cases, both of them actually. So we help to keep construction projects on track. That is what Track 3D does. And how we do that is by automating construction monitoring. Like you can capture the site with a moving camera. It could be a robot, a drone, or a person walking around with a camera. And our AI engine automatically tells you how much of work has been done, what has been done, when it has been done, and also has it been done to the right specifications or not without any manual input. So, all just hold your mobile, walk around a single family home, for example, and the system will automatically tell you everything that's been installed. So this helps you to proactively track your project. You're always on top of it. You know when things are going wrong so that you can actually mitigate the risks and help keep the project on track. That is the number one thing we do.
So I'm just looking here. You didn't just all of a sudden learn how to start this company. You a software engineer, so you learned how to program and manage software. You started a company in 2015. You started another one. Well, I guess you work full time, then you start another one, then another one, now this one. So you're what to call a serial entrepreneur. And this one in particular, you've raised $10 million of a seed round, so you must be investing a lot in the technology right now.
Okay, Henry. So it's been a long journey. In fact, we are three co-founders, and two of us have been on this journey for more than 15 years now. And all the three of us have been working together for 8 years. So we have been gone a long, long time. We are friends since high school, all the three of us actually. So we know each other more than what we know of our wives. So that's what we say. But I'll tell you about me to start with, right? Did my computer science graduation, and back in 2007 was when I started my first company. So it was very clear. I did an internship in a company which I would not name before that. And that internship gave me enough insights to say that, I'm not meant for the corporate world. I like building new things, building impactful things, and working on cutting edge technology has always been my passion. Inside that, also, I was very fortunate to work on some really, really good technology early on. So 3D vision, AI, robotics, and IoT, right? The combination of all these technologies was what was super fascinating for me because I simply couldn't understand a picture or a blueprint if you apply it for the construction scenario. You take a blueprint and try to understand and visualize it in 3D. I was never able to actually visualize it that well. So I felt that, pictures are worth 1,000 words, they say. But if you take pictures and convert it into a 3D, that is actually worth 1,000,000 words. So that way, right, I've worked very early on in different domains. Started out in the medical domain, then home automation, industrial automation, furniture augmented reality, to our last startup, which was in the smart cities domain. Like we were creating digital replicas of entire cities using drones, robots, cars, whatnot. And that led us into the world of construction, actually. Because cities do a lot of construction. We were helping city administrators track what is happening on their job sites. And that's when we also understood that construction is a large global problem that, if technology applied right, can unlock so many amazing benefits that I was talking about. So we started Track 3D 4 years back, said, let's apply all our expertise and technology that we have gained over the years to solve what is like $1 trillion industry's problem on a global scale, right? And the problem is same. You do a construction site in US or in India. Today, data from the ground is being collected in manually. And manually collected data is either inconsistent, incomplete, inaccurate, or inaccessible, actually. So stakeholders of the project never get the right data at the right time to make the right decisions. And we thought by smartly applying technology, we can solve that. So that was the genesis of Track 3D and my genesis as an entrepreneur all throughout. And you're right to one more question that you asked. All my previous ventures or all our previous ventures, we have never raised any venture funding before. And this is the first time we are doing it because, we were very thoughtful of the kind of impact that we want to create. And we knew that, having the right partners on board to support our mission, along with this right ammunition, is needed to actually create that impact on a global scale. So yes, we are again fortunate to be backed by some of the leading, construction tech VCs and others. And it's been 4 years. We have raised total of about $14.3 million. We just announced our Series A about 1 month back.
So where are you in the process right now? Do you have clients? Are you going to market? Yes.
Yes, we have, Henry. We started, as I told you, 4 years back. The first 1.5 year was about core development and understanding the customer requirements and all that. But we have been commercially available in the market over the last 2 years now. And again, I've been super fortunate to be working with some of the largest construction companies in the US.
Oh, terrific.
So we have been operational. We are on more than 400 job sites right now. And these job sites range from airports, data centers, hospitals, wastewater treatment plants, to all the way to even retail units, even single family homes. So technology is really scalable.
So what was the purpose of the seed capital? To invest further in your technology or to invest in people or obviously some kind of growth need for growth capital?
Absolutely, Henry. So this Series A funding that we did is primarily to actually grow our go-to-market efforts. Because the first 2 years of our go-to-market was predominantly me, founder-led, being supported by obviously my other co-founders and team. But we didn't have a team presence in the US, especially from the sales front. So sales, marketing, go-to-market efforts, this is where we are actually putting in majority of effort right now. So the idea is to grow it to a significant level because we believe that every job site globally is our target market actually. And we want to make Track 3D so accessible.
So do you have some stories of maybe a problem that was solved that is something that you'd like to share about how it was a big win for the company because they had the benefit of you and your company and your software?
And there are so many of
I
them, but
know,
I'll
I know.
of them actually, which come at the top of our minds, right? So this is an airport, a good large airport being built in California, and our technology is predominantly field first. So we designed it so that the field teams can take maximum usage of it, while the office gets the operational visibility over what is happening. One of the simplest use case that we were able to solve was a duct. So you had a HVAC duct being placed at a wrong place. As per design, it was not supposed to be there, but in reality, our AI engine could detect it and show it contextually on the floor plan where the duct was located. Now, catching this early meant that you could rectify this problem much earlier, and the rework cost associated with it was drastically low. One other example on that is, this is an object being placed in the wrong place. But one more example I can give you was would be a sprinklers, right? So you had sprinkler heads to be put up again before closing the ceiling panel. And the subcontractor or the trade partner comes to the GC and says, hey, I have completed my entire thing. It's 100% done. Please release my payment. The superintendent logs into Track 3D and says that, Hey, the system is showing me 98% done. There are four that got missed, and he could actually locate it on the floor plan saying, these are the four that you didn't install. Now just imagine this, right? A huge airport floor, four sprinkler heads. You don't know which ones have been put up, which ones have been missed. And then you cover up the ceiling. The time taken to just uncover that, remove all the ceiling would be so phenomenal. So they loved us for that fact that you could just with one click ask it a question. Hey, how many sprinkler heads were installed? Where were they installed? Or where are they not installed yet? And the system would show you all that data visually. And
And
these are
how
just
how would it
examples.
know that?
So the most common mechanism is, you would take a camera, anyone, any superintendent or a project engineer on site would walk around with a 360-degree camera. These are commercially off-the-shelf available cameras, or it could be as simple as your mobile phones. Just walk around with the camera. Our AI engine is intelligent enough to actually firstly reconstruct the entire space into 3D and then automatically look for objects. It's looking for everything that's installed and quantifying and qualifying it. What I mean is, you get the lengths, areas, counts, heights, and even volumes of everything that is installed automatically through our AI engine. So that is a key value proposition, right? Now, everything is measurable and everything is visible. You can predominantly track it and tell both how much is installed and how much is pending.
Got it. So mainly through cameras. Yeah. And I know that, I've had some conversations with, and this was a while ago when we didn't have all the technology that we have now that you're helping companies with, but building a 40-story building, the supervisors, they can't even walk the whole building. In homes, it was tiring, but we had supervisors, but I could walk through the houses, 4 or 5 houses, look in every room, make notes. Back then it was a clipboard, and you can't do that in a commercial building. And if you can, you couldn't remember everything. You just get certain things, and you might make a note wrong. And obviously, there's ways to do that more efficiently with computers now. But the camera is an obvious thing that I guess I didn't know about. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but
Think about it this way, right? I like to give this analogy. If we take construction scale down to a small problem like building a Lego set, you have instructions, which are your drawing, and you love building the Lego. But what no one loves actually is actually documenting the process. Hey, I have installed this piece, document it as this time. But imagine there was a camera constantly looking at it or periodically looking at it while you're building the Lego, and it tells exactly which piece has gone where. Now you have everything being automatically documented and recorded by AI. That's what we are doing at this building scales actually. So you know what's beneath that wall, what's underneath the ceiling, or which pipe has gone in when and where. That is very powerful data, but because again, think about it. Generally, these physical assets like commercial complexes or even houses for that matter are one of the largest capital investment that one makes, right? But you know for sure that the documentation you get out of it is pretty ordinary, to say the least. They are not accurate enough. The drawings or blueprints are not accurate enough. What if you don't need the drawings? The reality becomes the as built. That is what track 3D is aspiring towards. It's not only during the construction phase that we are doing it right now, but to be an operating system for any physical asset across its entire life cycle. And we do it through reality intelligence, we call it. So reality capture plus AI. Reality intelligence is what we call it. And reality intelligence is all about, understanding your physical space, documenting it, observing the changes, and giving you automated insights, automated actionable insights without anyone doing the manual tedious work of recording everything.
how is it as far as you talk about manual and tedious work? How is adopting the software? Is that, I know many times that's a concern when people take on a new software. How hard is it going to be to make the transition?
A great question, and one analogy I'll give. This is something I constantly speak, right? Because construction industry is technically called a tech laggard industry. People say that they have been slow to adopt tech and they have not been great at adopting tech. I have a different take because I don't come from the construction industry. I come from outside, And I see these guys are really, really hardworking and real great guys. The thing that I found was technology was never simple enough for them to adopt. Yeah, the technology should fit into their daily workflows in a seamless process, and technology should make life simpler, not make the learning curve steep. So those we took as design principles, Henry, when actually designing Track 3D. We said that, there should be zero learning curve and it should fit into your daily workflow. So our onboarding time is like a couple of minutes. You give us your drawings and you can get started just like that. And I think because of those design principles, we have seen some real good adoption from the field. As I told you, we made it field first. Now, are we simple enough or intuitive enough? I would say not yet, but I would say that we have the right ingredients, right things to actually build to that level. Our dream would be without we even talking to our customers, they're picking up Track 3D, directly logging in and doing everything that they want to. We are not there yet, but very soon we'll get there. But today, whatever success we have seen in the field is already been overwhelming actually. So people learn it very, very quickly.
Some got pictures on the website where setting up cameras facing a building, people walking around with cameras on a stick. And yeah, if that integrates into the website too, because it's always awkward to walk around. Just I've had some finish out on our own offices that someone else is doing for us. And you got your plans and you're walking around, they're kind of big and I mean they could be on the computer too, but then you're scrolling on your computer and you're walking around the building. Is this done right? Was that door supposed to be there? Do we want that door there? Do we want to move that door? Yeah, so if the plans integrate with they do, I can see with the video,
Yes,
that's awesome.
and that's our AI engine. That's the reality intelligence that I was talking about, right? The first part is you just need to walk with the camera and it automatically locates itself. It's like a GPS but working for interiors. Like how you would navigate on a map. The system would automatically navigate on the interiors and automatically map every image to the precise location on the floor plan. And then now you have the first part sorted out. The AI goes to the next level where it's actually counting or looking for everything that's installed. Like between yesterday to today, what were the changes that happened? Are they the right way? Things progressing the right way? And today we are only tackling progress and deviations, but there's so many powerful use cases. Like where is your material stocked? Do you have enough space for your people to actually go and do that job? How do you actually stack up activities or trades together? From being a verification tool on site to being a complete operating system that I talked about, when you can do planning, coordination, communication, and collaboration, right? That makes it so powerful. And that's what we are truly excited about.
Well, I guess too, it's helped you. I mean, AI is speeding up so much in the last year. You've been working on it 4 years, but I'll bet it's helping you a lot more now than it was 2, 3 years ago.
Absolutely. Henry. And I've been actually working on this technology for over 20 years now, actually. The core parts of the technologies have come of the evaluation of what we have worked across the last 20 years. In fact, some of our core team members have followed us from our first startup, actually, that we did 20 years back. So I would say, right, Track 3D is not 4 years in the making, it's almost more than 20 years now. And the way technology has evolved, both on the hardware front and the software front, right? I believe we are at the right time to make it super impactful for the field. Think about it. AI is only one part about it, but robots, the way robotics has evolved as well, right? You have now some of our sites have these robot dogs that walk on site on a consistent basis where you don't even need a person to walk. You have these drones that automatically navigate the site from the exteriors, come in a box. You don't need to operate it, learn to fly it, anything. It's automatically doing its job, and data is getting synced to Track 3D automatically. Both the hardware, the cameras have gotten so much more better. The resolution has been so much more better. So we are like super excited the way this is evolving, both on the software side of it with AI and the hardware with robotics and cameras evolving.
Welcome to Track 3D. How can I help you? So you have a whole chat thing too if someone wants to come online. That's probably one of the things you're building out is how can you communicate with people through your AI as they're first learning about it. Proactive deviation defect, unified data platform, automated process tracking, ease of use. I know with the ease of use, that's a big one for construction people. There's a tendency to stick with what's working if it's hard to make a change because sometimes they end up worse off. So I heard you say that you're not 100% there where you want to be on the intuitive, but you can start within a few minutes if you have the plans. And I know that
That is
that's
correct. And I'll tell you one use case that we are doing right now, right? So today we have an agent, an AI agent that you can ask questions. Like a superintendent doesn't even need to log into the system. We are enabling them with a mobile number. We call it the TED bot. And say you need to verify a pay application. How much of drywall was done over the last 3 weeks? You could simply ask it a question and it would tell you, hey, this much square footage of drywall was installed over the last 3 weeks, and this is where it was installed. Just a natural conversation. Now that is what we call like zero learning curve, right? You don't need to learn a system. You have certain questions which you want answers to in the most simple way possible. So those are the steps in that direction that we are taking to make ease of use as well as the data super accessible on site. No learning curve.
well, I'm guy on the podcast, Albert Bofidel. He started a Smart Barrel, and his is very specific. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And so it's a it sits on a barrel, but it's basically a computer that people can use to manage labor because there used to be a guy with a clipboard and get it wrong or people are late or whatever. We got the computer and so it's a very niche, but there's a lot of labor on jobs. We're talking about 400 thousands of people and getting it accurately recorded. And he said, if, I think in some cases who you're dealing with may be a higher level, but he said the labor guys, if it isn't intuitive, they'll just pick the damn thing up and throw it in the river and complain to their boss. So yeah, there's some challenges about adaptation, but if there's a push from the top down because they realize the cost savings and the time efficiencies and the quality efficiencies are there, then everybody will find. So do you find you're coming into these organizations from bottom up or top down as far as the entry point? Hmm.
I say both because ultimately the top down they may push an application because they see the efficiencies and everything, but it's where the rubber meets the road, right? It's where the application actually meets the field. And if you're not beneficial for them, if you're not saving them time, if you're not making their lives easier, the technology simply won't scale. So I think the true test of any product is actually the field and how people adopt into it. If they You may have the best intentions basically with the technology, but if it's not solving a field level problem, I see it will struggle to get adoption.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the Post-it note story, but 3M created Post-it note, and the guys at the top really were somewhat skeptical because you wouldn't think, and they're used a lot less now because we've got so much technology. But back in the beginning, so the people that were promoting it within the company said, "Well, give it out to everybody in the company." So they gave it out to everybody in the company, and then some period of time later, a month later, they said, "Don't give it out anymore." And they posted a number that you can call if you want more. And it was the corporate office. So the corporate offices get bombarding. Can we get some more of those posted notes? So they did it from the bottom, all the secretaries, everybody. So these days that's kind of outdated because we're not dealing with paper as much. But the concept is the same. If they want their tablet because doggone it, they need to know about those sprinklers and it's so much easier, then they're going to be telling their boss and their boss. And
100%. That's the way we are looking at it as well, right? And that's the bar that we have set for ourselves. The field team should become dependent on it. And to your point, exactly right. If we take this away from them, they should be utterly disappointed. They should be like, how I can do my job without this? That would be the true measure of success, actually.
well, you're in Silicon Valley. Well, not exactly, but San Francisco, that area of the country. Are you finding a lot of support, a lot of access to, I know you mentioned a lot of support from venture capitalists, a lot of access to talent and to advice and how to scale and grow a company. It could be, there's really no limit to how big you could scale this company.
100% Andy, and I recently moved from Dallas a couple of months back to the Bay Area. So I'm relatively new over here, but I can still say the ecosystem is totally worth it, right? You have amazing startup founders, investors, mentors, as well as access to talent. And that was the primary reason why we moved, right? Being an AI first company, having access to that ecosystem will really help our cause. So yeah, I mean, looking forward to the next part of our journey and how we can maximize the use of this ecosystem.
Well, Dallas is out, obviously has a great ecosystem, but I think probably as diverse as Dallas is, if you're talking about AI and leading technology, I would probably hard to compete with where you are. As much as I like the business environment in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Texas.
I do, and I loved it. It was super accessible. We were working in some major projects out in Dallas, which we still are. So it was very strategic location for us. But again, right, when it comes to AI ecosystem, Bay Area and the Silicon Valley are still one of the best in the world.
So, how are you with your new marketing? How are you reaching out to? What is your marketing plan, your sales plan? How are you improving that? Because a lot of that these days is online, and it's not the conferences and send out the salespeople anymore. It's
But I believe in the traditional approach still. Like we are just coming off back-to-back conferences actually, and we
okay.
get a lot of meetings, lot of interest over there because showing and getting that face-to-face time, I believe is still like super valuable and it can be a competitive advantage when you're bogged down by thousand emails that you never read to. A person having a conversation or a call, I think, stands out in its own way. Not that you're not doing that, we are doing all the digital outreach and all that, but we believe that going out in the field or these conferences where we can meet our potential users face to face creates a lot more impact, and that's why we are expanding our teams as well geographically as well as sector wise, so that we can touch more and more sites and show the impact that track 3D can create on them. So I love doing that all the while. My first part of the journey has been going from job site to job site to job site. Now I'm asking the remaining team, we are expanding and asking everyone to do that. The kind of perspective we get just by being on these job sites, right? It is really helpful.
Certainly that's where it all happens. I remember my first job, I was walking around in the mud, on construction sites and after college, and my dad was a lawyer. He's like, "What are you doing out in the mud?" And he talked to some friend of his who was a very significant developer, still is in the Washington, D.C. area. And he said, he's right where he needs to be, learn on the construction site where it all happens with mud on his boots. And so, yeah, if your guys are going out on sites and seeing what's going on and meeting the people there, that makes a lot of sense to me.
And we still do the top down approach. We still meet the CEOs of large construction companies. We reach out to them. They see our vision and they're truly excited about the way we are building this. So that helps as well. But I still feel that, the best learnings and the best conversations can be had in the field.
This is a really interesting company, and you're an interesting person. It's nice to hear that you have your team that's been with you so long too. A lot of loyal people, and how long you've been working on this. Is there anything else you'd like to say to kind of wrap up the conversation?
Well, thank you, Henry. I really enjoyed this conversation, and we are truly excited about the vision of taking Track 3D to becoming the operating system of every job site, right? We want to actually do it across the globe, every job site, no matter of the shape and size. We truly believe the kind of impact that we can create will be massive. So super excited on that and looking forward to having more partners, building more team, and going forward. We are really enjoying this part of our journey. So thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I wish you the best of luck, and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely, Henry. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.